5:30. At this time, I'd like to get the meeting started for our first 2023 Planning Commission. Can I get a roll call, please? Yeah.
Yes. Good evening. Chairman Zarguni,
Present.
Vice Chairman Miller,
Here.
Commissioner York is absent, Commissioner Mandel,
Here.
Commissioner Salazar Garza,
Here.
Commissioner Munoz,
Here.
and Commissioner Motagi.
Here.
Thank you. Quorum established.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to open the public comments. If anyone would like to speak regarding any public comment, not anything specific toward the agenda. None. I will close the public comment and move on to approval of the absences for Chairman Zarguni and Commissioner Mendel.
Motion to approve absences.
A second.
We have a motion and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving on to approval of the minutes from December 14, 2022.
I move that we approve the minutes from December 14th, 2022.
Second.
We have a motion and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving on to consent public hearing item A and B.
Good evening, Commissioners. Mark Orozco.
For the record,
Panel.
I'd like to pull item number 6 out of the consent agenda,
Okay, that is
the zoning.
the zoning item. Okay.
Thank you.
I'll be reading into record consent public hearing items A and B, discussion and possible action. Starting off with the plats. Item number 2, Graham Estates. It's a preliminary plat of 20 acres. Item number 3 is Chamberlain subdivision, Block 8, Lot 1R. It's a replat of .25 acres. Items 4 and 5 is a plat with a waiver for SMT Corpus, Lot 2, Tracks A and B, for 7.07 acres. Okay. And so the consent items A, plats have met the Texas Local Government Code and the UDC, and staff recommends approval on these items.
Commissioners,
And the waiver, approval,
waiver.
recommend approval on the waiver as well.
Commissioner, do you have any question for staff regarding item 2, 3, 4, and 5? None. At this time, I'd like to open the public comments regarding item 2, 3, 4, 5. Anyone would like to speak regarding any of these items? None. I will close the public hearing and entertain a further discussion or a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve items 2 through 5 as presented by staff.
I second.
We have a motion and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving on to item number 6, the rezoning case.
Good evening, Commissioners. For the record, Andrew Demas with Development Services. Going over tonight's lone zoning case, the request is from the ON Neighborhood Office to the CN1 Neighborhood Commercial District. The property is located at 3104 and 3118 South Alameda, located in District 2. The applicant is Bella Holdings, LLC. As you can see, the surrounding properties all fall within the Southeast Area Development Plan. The proposal is to convert the existing office building to a bakery and restaurant use. Of the 28 notices mailed out, we received originally 1 opposed, which has since withdrawn, and 0 in favor. So now we stand at 0 and 0. After reviewing the application, taking a look at the surrounding land uses, the character of the neighborhood, staff is recommending approval of the rezoning from the ON Neighborhood Office District to the CN1 Neighborhood Commercial District. And if there are any questions, I'd be more than happy to address them.
Commissioners, any question for staff? Commissioner Miller?
Is the applicant the operator of the bakery, or is that the landlord?
The applicant is purchasing the building, so it would become the new owner and operator.
Okay.
How big is this property?
It is 6,000 square feet.
And there's a building already on this?
Correct.
6,000 square feet land, and
Of building, 6,000 square feet. It's a 6,000 square foot building.
And how big is the property?
Let's see, let's open the zoning report that was sent to everyone, and we'll go through this. It is just over half an acre. Thank you, sir.
Half an acre, okay. Has there been a discussion with the applicant since they're particularly going to build or operate in terms of the restaurant or French bakery to get some sort of a special permit instead of changing a zoning to CN1?
There was some discussion, but ultimately, looking at the character of the neighborhood of similar commercial uses across the street and along the Alameda corridor, we felt comfortable in recommending approval of the neighborhood commercial district.
Because if you go back to your zoning slide, please. It's clear that the surrounding properties are all ON. And changing the zoning to a CN1, let's just say, God forbid, their business fails for whatever reason. That's not the case, I hope, but that gives the ownership of this property a CN1 zoning, which is inconsistent with an ON neighborhood. And obviously, there are other usage that can be done in a CN1 and not ON. So I just wanted to know why they were opposed to considering a special permit.
Well, we as staff weren't opposed to the CN1, so that is why we recommended approval.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Any other question for staff? None? I'd like to open the public comment at this time. The applicant, if you would like to speak regarding this item.
Yes, my name is Michelle Frederick. I'm the owner of the bakery and also the applicant. Bella Holdings is the current owner of the property, and we're purchasing the property. And we're doing the rezoning before we close on the property. We currently have a bakery. We've been open since 2019 and only growing. It's called Bien Marite. Maybe you know it from the pink box and the pastries. So we are very confident that it's going to be a successful area. It's kind of still in line with our current customer base. And we would like to eventually open up, you know, maybe more options than we currently have as well.
So you're planning to open up a bakery for sure in that location, correct?
Yes, I currently have the bakery. We've been
Okay.
open since 2019. We're going to move it. So we're currently just past the 6 Points area, and we've been open in that area, so we
But
want
is there a reason you're requesting a CN1 zoning? Or would you be open to special permit?
I would like to purchase the building under CN1. I feel more confident with that zoning.
Any particular reason as why?
For the restaurant? Just like the advice that I've been given, I suppose. I'm not,
Mr. Chair, the minimum zoning needed for a restaurant and bakery is CN1. That is the absolute minimum.
But we can give them a special permit.
I don't want to purchase the building and put in the amount of money that we're planning to put into the building without the correct zoning and going on because for, you know, me as a small business, it's a big purchase to be going from renting to purchasing and renovating a large building. I'd prefer to close on a property that has the correct minimum zoning for a restaurant.
Okay, Commissioner Miller?
I guess the primary concern is it abuts residential property behind it, correct? And within a CN1, bars, nightclubs are permissible, no? Okay, what would be so no bars but alcohol sales in the restaurant?
Sure. So a little kind of helpful hint is any office building that's zoned ON can have a restaurant as an accessory use. Every restaurant has the eligibility of applying for a liquor license or a beer and beverage license. So let's say the pediatric office next door decided, hey, we want to sell off half and open a restaurant. They can do that today and have full beer and wine sales, no problem.
But is there a hours of operation limitation or anything?
On-premise consumption would be limited to the same TABC regulations of having to stop at 2 a.m. Package stores, today, if one of the office buildings next door decided to, again, sell off half for a retail establishment, a package store could open till midnight under TABC to sell bottled drinks that's off-premise consumption.
But you said bars and nightclubs aren't permitted in a CN1?
A standalone bar nightclub. So I couldn't open up, you know, XYZ bar next door, but I could open up XYZ bar and grill. And as long as 50% of my sales are going to be restaurant, food related, I can still serve alcoholic drinks today.
Got it. Okay. All right, thank you.
Commissioner Menuz.
Just a comment on the CN1 and the ON budding residential neighborhoods. If you look down the street, and I think it's right down past the last ON on this map, there is a CN1 on the corner of Alameda, so it's fairly close. Alameda and Glazebrook is zone CN1, and it does abut the residential RS6. So just wanted to make sure everyone knew that.
Commissioner Garza.
I just wanted to ask, your hours of operation, being that you're a bakery, usually for me, the bakery's what, from 5 to 2 or 3, but being that you already have a business, an ongoing business at 6 Points, right? 6 Points? 7 to 3? 7 to 4, okay, thank you.
Okay, is there any other question real quick for applicant before I close the public hearing? None. I will close the public hearing at this time and we'll entertain a further comments, discussion with staff or possible motion. Anyone have any questions?
Just for clarity, Andrew.
Yes, sir.
But in an ON, you said that the doctor's office could close today and open.
They could, so the way the ON works is that as many buildings you see downtown, or the one I like to use, the old New York Life building, now it's the Clayburgh Bank building. There's the Shoreline Sandwich Shop that's on the first floor. The Shoreline Sandwich Shop under ON zoning could not stand alone by itself, but as an accessory to an office building, as long as it's less than 50%, no problem. So if Shoreline wanted to add alcoholic beverages today, other than going through the TABC permitting process, completely allowed. So if one of the adjacent office buildings decides to lease out half of their building, or at exactly that 49% mark, that could turn into a restaurant or bakery or some type of retail use and serve beverages or not serve beverages, all hours, as long as they follow TABC requirements if they chose that direction of on-premise consumption.
And this building's a 2-story building, correct?
Correct.
So if y'all use the upstairs as your office space and operated the restaurant and bakery on the first floor.
Exactly. That could be done today. That was brought up in discussion. The idea behind the CN1 was to give ultimate flexibility. So if they do want to expand the restaurant use, they wouldn't be limited. Now, the CN1 isn't without limitation in its own, because the CN1 does cap restaurant uses at 5,000 square feet. So even with this potential approval of zoning, they're still going to have to balance so much of the building for office, you know, their bookkeeping rooms, office space, and the bakery portion and the restaurant portion whenever that second phase decides to open. So it's not just a free pass. There are several checks that still have to happen along the way.
And I've got a couple other questions, and I just want to assure y'all, I want y'all to have y'all's bakery here, but I want to make sure that you understand everything. So is there any differences in an ON and a CN with regards to parking requirements?
Parking requirements are solely by use. So if you're a restaurant use, you're at 1 to 150. If you're an office, regardless of what zoning district you're in, same thing with offices. It's 2.4 per 1,000, regardless of what zoning district you're in. It's strictly by the use itself.
Okay, so there's nothing that can trip them up with one zoning versus the other, because this property doesn't have a whole ton of parking.
Correct.
So,
And that'll be one of those checks that I just
Right.
mentioned. If they enlarge the restaurant space to so much and they don't have the adequate parking, they may have to shrink it a little.
okay.
So Andrew, I have a question. What's the biggest difference between ON and CN1? Like, what is the biggest difference in terms of usage?
Retail is the number one, followed very quickly by restaurant, but the ironic thing between ON and CN is ON allows a whole host of intense uses, meaning I can have a full-scale emergency room, you know, drive-up emergency room in ON because it's a medical facility. That is far more intense and more of a what others could call a nuisance of having an ambulance coming in and out today. So it's a hard line, and why ultimately staff, we decided to support the CN, because as far as what is the worst thing that can be an ON versus the worst thing in CN, they're identical. There is not one that's inherently worse than the other.
So in ON, they can do apartments?
ON and CN both allow apartments, both at 37 units an acre.
Same.
So I think it's good that y'all be aware of, especially if the end goal is flexibility, down the road, that this could be viewed as a double-edged sword and might be a more valuable property if it's named ON. I'll support it either way.
Okay, thank you. Any other question for staff? Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve item number 6 as approved by city staff.
Second.
We have a motion and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving on to director's report.
No director's report, thank you.
Any future agenda item for discussion? None. We are adjourned.
Thank you.